With Tony, how did you see him to kind of handle this, being able to grind through 4 innings of work, especially with dealing with whatever he had with his finger and the dead skin?
I think with Tony today, it was a grind from the outset. The walks, the behind the count. I don't think he had command of his split, and it was a grind today. And so, with the first inning pitch count, we were fortunate enough to get him through 4. But still, with what we went through this series with the starters, there's a lot of innings our pen had to cover. And that's unfortunate, and still had a chance to win the games today, though.
There was a part where you were talking to Landon and then he went to the bullpen. Was that just one of those instances in which if Tony was going to have to come out of the game early to be able to protect the bullpen?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that he's starting tomorrow, and just kind of where we're at the first inning, depending on how far Tony went, there might have been a scenario where Landon was going to pitch for us and try to pick up the pieces to figure out tomorrow. Fortunately, we didn't get to that point, so Landon will be ready to go for his start tomorrow, but that was the conversation.
You've obviously been hitting on it a lot over the last few weeks, but how sustainable is it to sort of keep relying on your bullpen as much as you guys can have?
Yeah, it's not sustainable. I think that I personally just look at each night and try to figure out who's available and how to try to win the game, cover the game, protect players, and that's kind of sort of the math, and you put these pieces together and try to weigh them in my decision making. But yeah, I mean, I think that our starters will gain some traction and start going deeper, because we certainly needed it at the pen. Yeah.
How frustrating or just kind of difficult is it to be able to win? Like, it does seem pitching things like even with the bloody finger kind of keep popping up for you guys lately here.
Yeah, it's sort of, I don't think it is what it is, I guess, and you sort of kind of deal with it. But yeah, I mean, Tony came in today feeling good, and then there was a thing on his finger that kind of surfaced when he was getting loose, and that kind of impeded his command. And so hopefully, when he starts on Saturday, that will be taken care of and give us a full start. But you just sort of have to deal with things as they come up.
What do you think the difference has been in execution for Bonda this year as opposed to maybe last year, obviously, especially the home runs?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I don't know the answer. I think that there's a lot of sinkers that, are not sinking. They're not commanded. He's getting into some bad counts. There's times where he's not, landing his slider. And so I think it's just a compilation of things that, ultimately the sinker's got to have some movement, and there's real velocity there, but, guys can hit velocity now. So I think with Anthony, it was, great for him to give us 2 innings, which were much needed. But there's a 3-1 heater that just kind of was a misfire, and Darno put a good swing on it.
How does losing Kirby to the IL affect how you approach leverage situations when you want a right-hander?
That's going to be interesting. Ben's kind of been a guy that pitches 2-3 innings, and so there's certain games that he's offline. We got Trevino here. He's through 2 innings today. He was, a guy that really handles right well throughout his career, but he's going to be down for a couple days, giving us 2 innings, and we're just going to have to piece it together. It's a good question, though.
Was Garcia okay when you checked on him?
Yeah, I really couldn't gather what was going on with Luis. He really didn't divulge. So, obviously with what he's done 3 in a row, he'll be down for a couple days, and we'll just kind of figure it out. Pick up the pieces tomorrow and expect a good start out of Landon and figure out how we can match these guys up.
Dave, when you lose guys like Barnes and Taylor in a short amount of time, well-liked guys, can that cause an emotional kind of thing for the guys to kind of overcome, maybe subconsciously? Or
No, I don't know. I mean, obviously those 2 guys were very good Dodgers, very well-liked. But I think, to be honest, we just didn't pitch well this series. And I just don't know how much that, is a result of, moving on from 2 really good players.
Do you have any update on Michael Kopech yet?
He is through a pen, I think today, and I think he's supposed to be pitching in a game on Tuesday. but he came out of it fine.
With those moves with Taylor and Barnes, like how much do they just kind of signify the urgency you guys are kind of approaching the season right now, especially in the tight division race?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think that, we talked about Dalton, and I think that Dalton's earned the opportunity to get some runway, and he's showing well right now and learning, which is great. And then, also obviously, even with Haesong doing what he's doing, I think this is a good opportunity for him. And so, yeah, obviously we're in a tight race, and I think there's some of it is the race, some of it is you still want to kind of continue to develop young players and give them opportunities, with the veteran ball club.
Is Taylor still on track to be activated more?
Yes.
When Tommy and Kikuchi had that collision, was there a second where you kind of?
I held my breath. I did hold my breath, and I hope Yusei's okay. But yeah, I definitely held my breath, making sure Tommy came out of it okay. And the word that I got was he's fine. Thanks, guys.